Welcome back to the Stadium Journey podcast, and thanks for joining us this evening. Check out our website, stadiumjourney.com, to get all your sports travel information. We've got reviews of more than 2,500 stadiums, ballparks, racetracks, gyms, backyards.
Racetracks, huh?
Barbecue. We do have racetracks, yeah. From all around the world, and we are more than just that awesome website. You can connect with us on our social media channels. Find us at Stadium Journey. Now, the Stadium Journey podcast. Audio versions. Just wherever you look for your favorite podcast, type in HIAC Talk Radio Network. Wherever you look for your favorite podcast, we'll be there. If you want to watch the video simulcast of the podcast, go to Stadium Journey's YouTube page. They're all there. And if you want to be part of our studio audience, we record live every other Tuesday night at 7 Eastern, give or take, at danlaw.tv. All right, we got the gang all here tonight. Let me introduce them all real quick. Dave Cotney's here. Follow him online at ProFan9. Mark Viquez is with us. Find him at Ballpark Hunter. The above-average comedian, Dan Calachico's here. You can follow him at DanLaw83, unless you're like me and I'm muting him for the next 2 weeks on social media because, the Sixers and Celtics are matched up. No, I kid. And I am Paul Baker. You can follow me at PuckmanRI. And tonight, we're going to tackle one of my favorite formats that we do from time to time here on the podcast, our rankings list. And the subject tonight is the arenas of the National Hockey League. So I think we are putting out rankings of the NBA and the NHL in the next couple of weeks. We chose NHL because I think we're a little more well-versed in our travels with the NHL. I know, Dave, you're pretty close to finishing the whole league, right?
26.
26 out of 32. Not bad. Mark, how about you? How many have you been to?
Carl, that's a good question.
As you can see, Mark has once again done his homework.
No, I thought we were talking about something else.
He wrote it in the messenger yesterday in order.
Well,
what did you think we were talking about, Mark? Because we can do both.
Yeah, I was going to say we can switch.
I thought we were having a conversation about the visually impaired games. I thought that was.
Oh, that's 2 weeks from now.
That's 2 weeks now. Okay, all right, that's fine. I mean, I can talk about them. We can, Prudential Center and.
There you go. Mark doesn't know where he's been. Mark doesn't know where he is. So I've been to about 12 of them. Dan, how about you? You've been to a few yourself, haven't you? Or just one?
Get out of here. Active or in general?
Active. Well, we're going to talk active ones today.
Okay.
Yeah, we talked about old ones. I can bump my number up a little bit.
1, 2, 3, 7.
All right. See, so we got them all. We got most of them covered. I figure out of the 32 different arenas, we can cover
6. 7 is I haven't been to the Rock because I refused.
Figure we can cover probably a good.
I mean, they are playing hockey there for another round of playoffs. So
yeah. Get comfy. You're not winning a cup this year.
All right. Here's a quick question before we start, guys. What would you rather have your team do in a Game 7? Blow it with a minute left, or just get shut out and not show up?
Oh, I go with. This is where I step out. I go with get shut out.
You'd rather just get shut out and be able to check out early?
Like the 4-0, yeah, because then you're done at you're done after the first or second or whatever, and you're like as opposed to like sitting on the edge of your seat
and getting your heart broken,
heartache at the end there.
Yeah, I don't know. I go back and forth on which one I'd rather see, but you make a strong point.
I don't know what feels worse right now to you.
Who would I rather be, a Bruins fan or a Rangers fan? I don't want to be either.
I'd rather be a Bruins fan.
Yeah. I would rather put up with
the Bruins were upset. I mean, that's ridiculous.
Hold on, wait. This and Paul, I'm actually in your favor here. This whole thing, yes, it sucks. Maybe it's a little embarrassing. I wouldn't know anything about embarrassing hockey teams now. That was for you, Mark. But in your favor, Mark, in the grand scheme of things, Boston's been pretty freaking successful in hockey in general in sports, but in hockey and 2011, you had the cup after another pretty embarrassing turnaround by the Flyers. And I jokingly said to Kelly, when they lost, I said they're winning the cup next year, right? Is that what's going to happen? Because last time this happened, you immediately rebounded and won the damn cup. So, I wasn't sitting there going, "Who the feels sorry for Boston?" But I was like, they're okay. They're going to be okay.
They'll be okay. They're not going to be crazy.
You had the Patriots, you had the Celtics, and the Bruins. I think you're doing, and if you want to just squeeze a little extra in there, the Pride have been doing, I'm just saying.
Oh my God, the PHF silly season. We're not going to get into that because I start going for the whole show.
Is it really? Were the Bruins really upset? Because now
I'm pretty damn upset.
Well, I know you're upset, but in each of the four major sports, the team that has the best record in history in the regular season did not win the championship.
And hey, the President's Trophy curse. I don't want to call it a curse because it hasn't been around that long, but for what?
I mean, it's
20 years, man.
20 years now. Is it 20 years now?
Yeah.
All right, maybe you can't call it a curse.
Really? I thought it was around longer than that.
No, 20 years since the last President's Trophy winner won the whole thing.
Yeah, yeah.
Sometimes chasing that record wears you out for the playoffs.
And they threw everything at it. They weren't hiding it. And I don't mean like dirty or anything going on like that. That team threw everything at getting that record and getting that trophy just to do that.
Yeah, but who was the second best record this year? How far were they behind?
In the league?
Yeah.
The Bruins clinched the best record with like 3 weeks left in the season.
Yeah. So that was dominant. That's like if the 96 Bulls, went 72-10 and didn't.
Well, when Golden State Warriors went, what did they go? 72-9 or something crazy like that? And
73. Oh, wait,
73-9.
They lost the Cavs.
Yeah, and the Cavs
lost the championship. They didn't get knocked out.
At least they made the championship, yeah.
At least they made the championship, but they still get knocked for. At least they won 3.
Hey, the Patriots went 17-0 and lost in the Super Bowl. And, it happens to all of them.
I said this to you, Paul. The thing is that with the President's Trophy winner is they go through the entire season with no adversity, right?
So somebody punches them in the mouth and they don't know how
suddenly
to respond.
you lose 2 games and it's like, wow, what do we do? We haven't had to deal with this before.
I will tell you who I really felt bad for. Bergeron. That is a bummer. Because didn't he sign like a year contract for this year?
Him and Krejci both came back on team-friendly contracts for one last run, and Bergeron actually herniated his disc in game number 82.
Oh, shit.
And that's why he missed most of the first round.
I didn't know that.
Game 82 was in Montreal, so he was playing a little backstory. We're going to get way off topic here, boys. This is going to be a 5-hour show.
No.
Game 82 was against Montreal. Bergeron is a Quebec kid. That his dad is really sick, battling cancer. So his dad was at the game. He was thinking this might be my last regular season game. I want to play in front of my dad. What happens? He herniates his disc.
Oh, God. I didn't know that. So anyway, I felt bad for him as it is. So thanks.
Oh, my God. When they were doing the handshake line and Krejci and Bergeron, I think I posted that one online because I took a picture of my television. When they were just standing off to the side, hugging each other and crying, I was like, it's over.
And I hate you guys. And I felt bad. Like I hate you. But I was like, oh, that is emotional. That sucks.
Hey, guess who's going to be the next Bruins captain?
Pasta.
The licky guy?
Brad Marchand is going to be the next captain.
Is he going to lick everybody who votes for him? Or
he's going to lick me.
How many years does he have left?
He's 34, so not many. All right.
Hey, at least you got pasta. Anyway.
Do it.
Let's get on with the show.
32.
Number 32.
Wait. That's what you get for trying to sign Mitch Miller. Moving on.
Karma.
Yeah.
All right. So we're going to go from worst to first on our Stadium Journeys rankings by our fanfare score. If any of you have not been to the website, don't know what our fanfare score is, how the heck did you find this podcast? But thank you. Fanfare, we rate every venue based on food, atmosphere, surrounding neighborhood, fans, access, return on investment, and then there's an extra category for stuff that just doesn't fit in any of the other ones. So each one's graded 1 to 5. So a perfect score for a venue would be a 5. Perfectly bad score would be a 0. What's the lowest score we've ever given out? I think like a 1.4. But I digress.
We did have that one from Afghanistan, which didn't have a number. It was
we didn't give it a
don't
score
come to Afghanistan.
Yeah, we didn't give it a score. So none of these venues are going to rank very low. They're all very well. So let's start off at number 32, which is probably not going to be a surprise to anybody. The Phoenix Coyotes, the Mullet Arena, their temporary home for the next couple of seasons.
Not an NHL arena. Move on.
Doesn't count. Yeah, there you go.
Now, why did that rank so low, Dave? You looked at it real quick. You said the prices. Ticket prices are crazy.
Well, because there's only about 5,000 seats, so the ticket prices are really high.
All right, so let's move on. Yeah, and in a couple of years, they're building a brand spanking new arena, and we'll have to reevaluate, right?
We'll see.
All right. Yeah. What? Huh? Okay. Coming in at number 31. I don't know any of the corporate names of these. I've got to switch things around here. It's the Ottawa Senators.
Canadian Tire Center.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's barely in Ottawa. It's way out. It's way away from downtown. It's probably also the arena that has the shortest lifespan going forward between this one and Calgary and Arizona, because they've got land approved. And hey, man, they're just in the news that Snoop Dogg wants a piece of the Senators.
I saw that. I was like, oh, good.
Ryan Reynolds, I've heard. Yeah,
the new thing.
It's not terrible, but it doesn't get any of the great neighborhood score that you would get in Ottawa, because it's nowhere near anything.
Yeah, I know every broadcast I see from Ottawa, they mention it's way the heck out there.
You know, when I was there in 1996, I saw a roller hockey game, Roller Hockey International, and some guy was telling me, you know, they even have a road out here. They had to build a road from the interstate out to this arena, because it felt like we were eons away. But we were young kids. We didn't know better. We didn't know about these downtown stadiums that were taking the world by storm. I remember at the time I thought it was a great looking venue, and it kind of pairs up with, you know, maybe the Philadelphias or the Montreals at the time. But I think a lot of those venues are in much better locations. And Philadelphia, I know, and I don't know about the other ones, have been heavily renovated. I don't know if Ottawa has been heavily renovated in the last 26
Is it one of those things they're fishing for a new arena, so they kind of just let it slide a little bit?
Well, I mean, there's a lot going on there. The owner died, and then they're going through a sale. Of course, they came through bankruptcy. The location was the original owner got a deal on land out there, and you know, building an arena in Canada is not the same as building the arena in the States. So,
especially Atlanta.
Yeah, it's not like the government's tripping over you to give you money. To build an
you're
arena.
absolutely right. So you build where you can afford to build, and
yeah. And the big kerfuffle was that they ended up having to pay for their own on-ramp, because the highway was right there. So they had to pay for their own on-ramp to get So anyway.
All right. That's
hasn't aged well.
Number 31. Yeah.
My friend Rakesh will be really upset because, you know, he's an Ottawa guy, but I think he'll understand. They're pretty close to the bottom.
If you're an Ottawa fan, you understand. Kind of like I was a Met fan. Shea Stadium was a dump for many years, so.
Whew. Shea Stadium, man. I got only place where you can be closer to the airplanes than the field. All right, coming in at 30. Here's our first shocker of the list. Little Caesars Arena, Detroit Red Wings.
That's way, way undervalued, I think.
Who reviewed that?
We're not going to do that because we got yelled at one time for doing that.
Yeah, no, I'd never been to Arizona. Step back. I had Ottawa at 24 of my of 26 for me. Detroit, I have 7. Right, it's the Little Caesar Arena it's just such a atmosphere wise. It's just leaps and bounds from where Joe Louis Arena was.
I've actually been there, so I can agree with you. I think a big negative about the Detroit venue is the price.
Yeah.
Maybe the neighborhood. I don't know. I was there the first season of it, so I don't know if the neighborhood surrounding has improved.
No, the neighborhood has improved because a lot of people, when we think of Detroit, especially of a certain age,
it wasn't bad, but it just wasn't finished.
Well, it's on the edge, right? So right now, because it's on the opposite side of the Fisher Freeway that everything else is, and if you keep going past that, I mean, you're pretty residential. You're not, you're not into
on game day. You know where everybody is heading to. They're heading towards, there's like a big square in front of the stadium or a big area, and there's some bars and restaurants there. I can tell you what it's like for a Tigers game. I would assume it's probably a lot more livelier for Red Wings game, especially when they're winning.
Well, and the thing is that the Wings are that much more removed than the Tigers are, right? So that highway is a pretty big divide. So it's not in as good a location as like Ford Field, Comerica Park, where it's kind of surrounding those things. It's like right on the edge.
It's adjacent. It's neighborhood adjacent. But inside it's one of the more technologically advanced arenas and great visuals and technology. And I don't know. I really enjoyed my time there.
Well, I'm looking at prices. I mean, if we compare the cheapest ticket or the average price with other NHL arenas, would Detroit rank higher in costs, or would it be average? Those are things I kind of wonder.
I would say in general, I found that the NHL is more expensive.
Always has been.
As a comparable to like the NBA.
Yeah. Yeah, it's less expensive than football, but more expensive than it's easy to compare it to basketball. And I always found basketball games are a little cheaper than hockey games. I don't know why, but
I had Bulls games when I was up there. It's like, good Lord, $50. It's a Tuesday night game.
My wife likes to tell me it's not 1990 anymore,
Oh, they think it is. The arena looks like it's 1990, but I guess we'll talk about that.
All right, so let's move on to number 29, which would be San Jose. The SAP Center.
Amazing review that was.
It was very long.
Whoever wrote that, genius. It's okay. I kind of liked it. I think I told my story about not being able to see there, and thankfully they fixed that. But it feels a little dated, that one. It's not in a spectacular neighborhood. San Jose, like it's in that San Jose. Like, essentially, you're thinking the Bay Area, right? So at one point, it was, we were really talking about 3 major cities, soon to be 2, right? Because we're not going to talk about Oakland for anything anymore. So essentially, like, if you compare it to San Francisco, it's a far cry from San Francisco. But I mean, that's the Bay Area hockey team. So, it's okay. They got the big shark head thing that comes down. So that's kind of neat. I've got it at 19 for me.
Mark, you said you had been there?
No, I haven't, unfortunately.
Okay. All right, so that makes it easy to move on to number 28, which would be, Dave, I believe this is yours too, Dallas Stars.
It is not mine, actually.
Oh, okay. But you have been there recently.
But I was there very recently. I actually have that one way higher. I have that at number 6. Maybe because just the fans surprised me about how into hockey they were. I'm a sucker for a good original goal song, and the Stars have an original goal song, and it's like it fits. It's like, it's kind of heavy metal, I guess. I always felt that when I went to Dallas, I'd be hearing a lot of country music, and that wasn't like that at all. American Airlines Arena. Is it Arena or Center? I think it's Arena. Center. So American Airlines Center. Really huge exterior. Is really nice. They got like the Victory Square, big statue of Dirk Nowitzki, which has nothing to do with hockey there. But no, I really like that. I found that really surprising. We had a great time at the Stars, so I have it way higher. I have it at 6.
So at number 27, speaking of venues that used to be ranked a lot higher, this for a long time was our number 1 for years and years, and that's the Winnipeg Jets.
Yeah.
Did they get a 5 for neighborhood? Probably not.
Well, I think
depends when our reviewer went out there, because there's nobody around.
I think that one, the old one was a local. Yeah, I have this a lot higher, and mainly because and my own personal rankings aren't fanfare rankings.
Right, the metric like we were saying, a downtown arena is going to have a better surrounding neighborhood.
Yeah.
So it's going to skew a little higher than a suburban neighborhood. So our
Yeah.
part of this is a function of our metric.
Yeah. And I think we all do this. Like, the metrics for us are all equal. So food is equal to atmosphere is equal to neighborhood. But I don't know about you guys, but some of the things are way more important to me than others. So, atmosphere, way more important. Fan participation, way more important. So Winnipeg, I have at like 9, mainly because this is the best attended team in the league. It is sold out for years. Now, does it compare, with like Chicago or whatever? Well, no, because it's like 15,000 as opposed to 22,000 or whatever the United Center holds. But amazing support there. Right into it. The whiteout was created in Winnipeg.
Yeah.
So intimidating. Let's all wear white.
And it's going to die in Arizona.
No, Winnipeg took it back.
Good.
And they've got the coolest celebrity fan ever, because Chris Jericho is from Winnipeg, and he's a huge Winnipeg Jets fan.
Ooh.
His dad was a hockey player, actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Ted Irvine. Yep. Yeah, I know who his dad is. Thank you very much.
Rangers.
Played for the Rangers.
Chris Jericho's dad, Ted Irvine?
In the Vancouver Blades.
His name is Chris. His name is Chris Irvine.
I never know that.
Yeah. He made an appearance on Thunder once in '98 when Jericho was doing his whiny crybaby kind of gimmick, and he's, "Hey, this is a conspiracy," and his dad came out, cut a horrible promo, but Tony grabs the mic and goes, "That's Ted Irvine," and he just reams Chris on the mic, and even stole his line where he goes, "And if you don't shape up, Chris, you will never, ever." I was like, that's awesome. Yeah.
A nice,
great. And if you're listening, go to the Talk is Jericho podcast where he had his dad on and talked about hockey in those days in his career. It's great podcast.
I think I have a Ted Irvine autograph puck in my collection.
He was an original LA King back in '67.
Ted was? Yeah.
Played for Boston for one game. 64, didn't return back until 67.
Yeah.
For the days.
Those were the days.
All right. So up next, number 26. Calgary Flames, the Saddle Dome.
Which, I mean, I've never been to the Saddle Dome, but I think it looked like the old US Air Arena in Landover, Maryland.
It did. You are right.
It was very similar, because I remember when I saw that for the first time and went to a game, I was like, man, this looks like the Saddle Dome.
The Pringle?
The Pringle, yeah, like a giant Pringle chip.
I like the exterior of the Saddle Dome.
Not so much the interior.
Yeah, no, not as much. I always thought, and it's one of those funny ones where it's got the big wings or whatever high at one end. So you'd think that the ice follows that, and that the high points are on the ends. No, it's the other way around.
Right. That's the way the Cap Center was too.
Some pretty bad sight lines in there. Now I will say, we had some obstructed views when we were sitting up there, and we were lucky enough. The Flames were terrible that year, and there was a PR lady that came up and gave us tickets. We moved us down 10 rows from behind the net. We sat in front of Sean Monahan's mom and aunt. So Sean Monahan became my kid's favorite NHL player for a bit.
All right, so moving on to number 25. We need the Casey background singers. Number 25.
25.
There's also another one I think is a lot lower than I would expect, and that's the Wells Fargo Center in Philly, home of the Flyers.
Yeah. Wells Fargo before the renovations, but
There's an amazing obstructed views that just came out on that. You should check it out.
Check it out. See what it's like for yourself.
I got 18. I got it at 18. I mean, a lot of great things that they've done there since. I actually expected the support to be a little better, even despite their poor showing on the ice when I was there. They won that game though, that I was at.
I can tell you one thing: when you see a Phillies game, Philadelphia Flyers game, make sure you're not wearing the opposite colors. You'll get.
I know you're gonna cry about that for 20 years, for crying out loud.
No, you won't. I've worn Bruins jerseys there, and I've been fine.
Oh, you've been.
Unless you act like if you don't act like a jerk, you won't get treated like.
I don't act like a jerk in Philadelphia.
It's quite possible that Mark may or may not have acted like a devil.
Not act like a jerk. I've had my Met hat on, and
you had a Mets hat on. That's helpful.
Well, there might be. Yeah, it might be the New York thing because Boston's
I think it's a New York thing. I think.
If it's a Mets hat, it's on site.
Yeah, Pittsburgh, Philly. Yeah, I mean, if I was there with the Winnipeg Jets, I don't think anybody would bother me. But
right, yeah, you show up with a Penguins thing, you might be in for a little hassling.
I'm just saying, you might have been asking for it.
Yeah.
So real quick, guys, Philly's got all the venues all in one spot. You guys a fan of that or no?
I'm okay with it.
It makes sense.
We've had this discussion before.
I mean, it's been like that since the late '60s. So I think people have gotten used to it. I've gotten used to it. Easy to find, easy on, easy off. There's some entertainment options there now, so it's a little.
It hasn't.
There isn't like Philly Live.
No. The late '60s.
No, yeah. Well, I guess 1970 is when.
No, it was 70. It was that's not the late.
Flyers
60s.
came in the league in '67, right?
Flyers
67 with the Flyers, and
the Spectrum was there, so you had two teams, and then you had JFK, which I guess nobody was playing.
What?
There.
Oh yeah, you had the Sixers and the Flyers, and then you
71.
had
71. So over 50 years. There you go.
Not the late '60s.
Okay, well,
that's 2 weeks. Next time you're going to tell me there wasn't a football team in Mexico.
Like
that was last week.
You're the only person who knew that one there. You're going way back. Hey. In Terre Haute in 1987, a minor league football team, played a doubleheader, which for most people is probably the only time that's ever happened.
And I might even remember to post this podcast this week.
There's your obscure reference.
You imagine playing a doubleheader?
71 when the vet was built.
No, absolutely not. Can you imagine playing a doubleheader in football? No.
Okay, fired up.
All right, moving on up. What am I moving too slowly for you, Dave?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, go slower. Anything to drive him crazy.
A Newfoundland time. Okay.
Number 24, the Carolina Hurricanes.
This is a funny one for me. I've got it. I've got it in my basement. I got it at 26. I will say the last time I went, I was shocked at how loud it was, at the fan engagement. It's a sink or swim place, right? Like there's either nobody there or everybody is there.
When the team was bad a few years back, there was nobody there, and there was actually relocation talk. But now that they're good again, the place is banged out. So
yeah,
fickle.
The building isn't too great for me. One of the things that I hate about it is they have all these banners because they share it with North Carolina State, which is interesting in and of itself. So they have all these banners for the Hurricanes and for NC State, but in most places they're not visible. It just I don't know.
Do they put them away for the hockey games?
No, they're up against kind of they're up high in the rafters and some of the girders are in the way and whatnot. And I know it's a little silly thing, but yeah, it's not my favorite spot. It's another one that's kind of in the middle of nowhere, right?
It's got lots of parking lots around it, right?
Yeah, that's right off.
Right beside the football stadium for North Carolina State.
All right, coming up next, number 23, the Honda Center, the Anaheim. Don't call them Mighty Ducks.
Mighty Ducks. I've been out there. It's one of these arenas built in I think '93. It opened up. So
yeah, it looks like a '90s.
It looks like a '90s. The color, the concourses. I don't know how much change has taken place there in a while. Not a terrible location. I think that's another one it's on a bus route. I know because I took it from the Anaheim Convention Center. Took a bus out there, so it's in a part of Anaheim where when it first opened, there wasn't a lot around there. Now there's a whole bunch of stuff around. It's a growing community.
The Big A is right there too.
Not far from the ballpark.
Yeah, I didn't hate it. But it didn't jump out at me like, oh my God, what wonderful memories I have.
One funny thing about it was the coldest concourse I had ever been on. The rink itself was very temperate, and I was there. We went there in 2020, but right before everything shut down for the pandemic, and it was very warm, and we were wearing shorts and a hockey jersey, and very comfortable watching the game. We went out to the concourse, and it was freezing.
Interesting.
And if
I have it at 22. It's okay. They got the duck things.
Whistle, yeah.
It was
one of the better team stores, right?
They have a couple of the duck things.
Yeah, duck colors or whatever. I was surprised. I figured that the fan base would be like way more into it than they were. I found the Kings to be a much more rabid fan base than like the Ducks were kind of like they felt really kind of stereotypical California, like really laid back and kind of yeah, go team, woohoo. Whereas the Kings, I felt were opposite. They were much more kind of fired up, and
it was just very weird to be at a hockey game in February with shorts on for me. So.
Yeah, that's SoCal for you.
All right, so where are we now? Number 22, the Vancouver Canucks. Rogers Center? Rogers Place?
It was a GM place when I was there.
Who
the heck knows what it is now? That was another place that reminded me of the Honda Center at the time. It was a nice
Rogers Arena.
It was a nice venue. I had a great time there. I went there. This how long ago it was the Vancouver Grizzlies? I think played the night before. So that was 2001. Great crowd. I remember the crowd being huge and really into the game compared to the Grizz. Wasn't too shocking to me because it was Vancouver. I had fun there. Vancouver is a great city, and it was a fun little arena. I don't really remember the area as well as I probably should. Anybody else who's been there recently?
It's right by BC Place. So there's other stuff. It's pretty downtown-ish. But it's a bucket lister for me.
All right, so let's move along to number 21, Buffalo Sabres. I don't know what it's called nowadays.
It is the KeyBank Center.
It's not the odd, no.
Not the odd. I got the Sabres at 16. I feel the Sabres struggle with kind of their identity. For a while, they were all into like the old school, like the Oregon and whatnot, and I kind of dug that. And now, maybe not so much. Good location, right downtown, lots of stuff there. Take the light rail to Dinosaur Barbecue, hit Pearl Street Grill. The building itself, it's okay. It's kind of spaceshipy. I'd like to hear them play Sabre Dance more, but that's me. So they're pretty middle of the package.
They should probably play better then.
Well, that's true too.
They're on the way up. Be interesting to see what they do next year. All right, coming in at number 20. This one's interesting. Vegas Golden Knights.
How is that at the?
Okay. I'm guessing it might be crazy expensive.
Everybody knows who's been out there loves that place.
Yeah, I'm surprised.
I got them at number 2.
Number 2.
All right, so why is our review wrong then, Dave?
Why is the review wrong? Well,
somebody didn't like the camp of the pregame festivities.
They got the food really low, which I don't know. I can't really say. I mean, for me, I'm in
Vegas. I'm not eating at a hockey game.
I was shocked I was shocked at the production. They rewrote the book. Let's be honest. The Vegas Golden Knights rewrote the book on NHL major sport production. And with the night at center ice and the little castle and they got a little live kind of like, forget this hype video stuff. No, they do it live on the ice. The fan support blew me away. Now, this was their first year. This was the year they went to the Stanley Cup. You know, do they have staying power now that they have more competition coming in? You know, Raiders coming in. Who knows, baseball, basketball, like they're on their way. But yeah, I was floored. One of the greatest experiences that I've had in hockey. So
yeah, it's one of those places I'd like to get out to too. It's, you know, I keep hearing great things about it. And as in terms for food at all these arenas are ridiculously overpriced. It's almost, you know, expected you're going to pay.
You're going to pay $15 for a beer, yeah.
I mean, I don't eat at the games. I'm not paying $12 for a craft brew beer at an arena. And sometimes you're seeing this at the low level college area, minor league baseball. I'd hate to see. I mean, I hate to see when I was in Milwaukee for a Bucks game. I couldn't believe how much they were charging. So can you imagine these other arenas that I haven't been out to yet?
I will say, and I don't think I'm breaking confidence here or anything like that, but I did have a conversation with the person who reviewed it, and he did say that maybe he was a little too hard on them.
We need to get somebody out there.
Well, I mean, you know, in these ratings, I mean, the difference between being number 20 and being number 10 is 2 points on our scale. So all of these venues are packed right close together, and they all have very good scores. So it's not like we're trashing somebody. It's just it's relative.
I don't want the Vegas Golden Knights booster club sending us emails with threats.
Yeah, exactly. Although it is fun to watch the social media comments when we do a rankings list because people get very passionate. People will love the review that's written, and then we put the rankings together. It's like, how could you put this one above this one? And
or they complain about the photos. Where did you get this photo from?
Yeah. All right, so we're at the top 20 now. Maybe we should have just done the top 20. But anyway, number 19, the Florida Panthers.
I got them kind of low as well. I got them at 23. Let's be honest, the attendance in Florida has been pretty sporadic, pretty up and down. Neighborhood wise, it's not awful. They're right out by the huge giant Sawgrass outlet mall.
Now, but Miami is one of the cities where the basketball and hockey play in different places, right?
Yeah, different places, different cities. Sunrise is not exactly around the corner from Miami, so it would be perfect for a tourist kind of venue because you're going to have a lot of tourists who are heading to that mall to do their shopping or whatever, and then you play there. The rat thing, that was really cool. That was one of the neatest things I saw, and of course they killed that. But yeah,
no, they didn't. They were throwing them all over the place in the last.
Well, I think they
came back.
They did something, but yeah, Gary Bettman didn't like that. I still remember that Stanley Cup final when Colorado was playing in Florida and Patrick Waugh hiding in the net while all these rats are flying down. It was pretty awesome. I think they do it like at the end of the game, you get to throw the rats or something like that.
Yeah, which would make more sense than during the game. Okay, up next at number 18, the New Jersey Devils, The Rock.
Oh, that should be higher. But I
would say so too, having just been there.
No, I love this arena. It's the Devils. I love the food options. I love how you can go to Newark and walk around and be safe. I love the beer garden that you can go to before the game. I know Dinosaur Barbecue's gone. I think it's like a hot Nashville chicken place now.
Yes, it is.
Newark, for somebody from New Jersey, still has a stigma of danger, and that's based off the riots in the late 60s. So if you have a chance to go to Newark and spend some time, it's a lot better than what the heck was there before. But yeah, it's a great arena. I mean, I'm going to sound like a homer, but I love it there. I wish I can get there more often when I go home and visit, but it's been a while. So I enjoy it. immensely. I love the facade on the outside, the exterior, and it's when the team is
mall that never opened.
The mall, well, that's over in East Rutherford. But when the team is actually doing well, like they are, it's exciting. When the team stinks, it can be a dirge. So that's probably my only negative is that the fan base. I wish they would pack that a little more often than they do.
Yeah, I got it at 20. I think it's one of the most attractive buildings on the outside. Inside, super clean. Attendance kind of soft for my taste.
Yeah, that would definitely be a down point. Yeah, I agree.
I was there just this year, and it was banged out. So, like anything, depends on the day of the week.
It pretty loud there the other day.
Yeah, for the playoff series, it was pretty much 50-50 split, they were saying, between Devils and Rangers fans.
I would say 70-30.
70-30? Still, it's kind of embarrassing.
Hey,
we just passed Florida. Do you hear what Florida was doing for their next round?
MSG, just freaking for the yuppies. Okay, go ahead.
Banning Canadians?
Banning Canadians. Banning ticket
Good,
sales.
they don't belong here anyway. Good. They don't belong here.
All right, so where are we? Number 17 on the list.
I'll tell Carter Hart, come on back home.
Because the Devils don't.
Dan doesn't want you down in his country.
I don't want him wasting his time on that team anyway.
Banning anybody that wears an opposite color of the team.
I don't want him wasting his time on that team anyway. What's he going to do? Win nothing?
Speaking of winning, well, no, this team has won some stuff. The LA Kings at number 17. And the Crypto.com Arena.
Staples Center. I cannot get you.
I got the Kings at 14. Not my most favorite place. I would say probably one of the worst food experiences I've had in an arena. It was like I didn't find the food good at all. I think we had McDonald's in there. That's how bad it was. But I was really surprised at how into it the fans were. I was expecting, like I said, Anaheim to be a lot more lively and LA to be a lot more downplayed. But no, the Kings. I went to a Kings, Clippers, and Lakers game all within like about 4 days, and the Kings was by far the most fun.
I did the same thing, but my timing was bad because I happened to hit LA the day of Kobe Bryant's death. So we went to the Kings game. That night was supposed to be, I think, a Lakers game, and that got postponed. The next night was the Kings, and it was like a week in there, though. So I can't really judge what the atmosphere is usually like there.
I don't know how you follow that up, but
to me, another 90s style arena, and too many statues all in one place. They could have put them all the way around the outside. They stuck them all in one spot.
Yeah, it feels like a lot of those arenas in the mid to late 90s all kind of share a similar design.
Well, we're going to hit a few of them here right now. So at number 16, you got it's now called Ball Arena, Colorado Avalanche.
Bucket list.
Never been there?
No. I've been to Denver, but that was my COVID trip.
I've been to the arena. There was no game going on. I went in the gift shop, which was highly disappointing. And
yeah, I did that.
Yeah, when I was out of Denver, I think I missed the ball. I think it was the Pepsi Arena.
Yeah, it was Pepsi Center or Pepsi Arena. Yeah,
I remember I went into Mile High and hung around. Of course, I went to Coors Field. I went to the soccer stadium. I just didn't go to the arena, which is odd. You think I would have made a venture in there, but no, didn't do it.
It looked nice enough, but I can't really comment on it. All right. Wow, there's one that we've all missed. That might be the only one so far. So number 15. This one I can't really talk about. I don't know anything about it. The TD Garden, Boston Bruins. Right in the middle of the pack where it belongs. So
I got them at number 12. I think I was it's been a while, but I think I was a little disappointed. I thought that the Celtics game was a little bit more rowdier than the Bruins game was.
It is generally.
Which really surprised me.
I think they are generally. But I think that's more of the production more so than the fans. But yeah, I mean, another 90s style arena. There's really nothing incredibly special or unique about it. It's solid place, middle of the pack. It's right where it needs to be.
It's better than the previous, correct? Would you agree with that?
Oh, the old garden was a dump.
Yeah.
A lot of people wax poetic about the garden. I hated the garden.
It's like people talk about the Spectrum. That was a dump.
The Spectrum was also a dump. Yes.
It was a goddamn dump.
I once got up and lost a shoe because it stuck to the floor at the Spectrum.
Like
it probably hasn't. It probably wasn't cleaned since the night the Flyers won the second cup.
I did get to jump over the boards at an REM concert at the Spectrum once, though, so I got to kind of live a dream.
Yeah, that'll do it.
And I went and I punched my friend. I was like, I had to.
You moshing?
How hard do you... Jesus.
No. Well, maybe I was like 20, 21 at the time, so maybe I was moshing.
You were moshing at an REM concert?
It's the end of the world.
I don't think you can't mosh during that song.
No,
I felt fine, Dan. What can I say?
Stand. He was moshing during Stand.
It was the one I love, and I was moshing.
Shiny happy people.
He was moshing. Yeah, I was gonna say he's moshing during shiny happy people. Orange Crush. Got my spine.
REM music going on here.
Wow. All right, this is turned into the REM podcast.
It's the greatest hits of REM. I was moshing during
record collection.
The number 14 arena, Minnesota Wild.
Oh,
I got Minnesota at 15.
In the Target Center, but not their arena.
It's I mean, it's interesting. It's kind of like the first.
I've seen the outside of it.
The first thing that happened that opened up St. Paul, like everything was always in Minneapolis, right? And then when the hockey moved back, well, I guess the Met Center wasn't that down in
that was in
Bloomington or something like that,
yeah,
or whatever.
The Mall of America is.
Yeah, but the I mean, it's nice enough. Good energy in that place. I think I had 15. But yeah, it was fun. I can't say that I would hang around that neighborhood though. I'd probably head down to Minneapolis as opposed to hanging out at that end of St. Paul. So, all
right. So up to the next one. Where are we? Number 13. I forgot where I was for a second. Number 13, St. Louis Blues. This one feels like it's up too high.
Another mid-90s arena. Good fan base. Can't complain about them. Neighborhood's fine. I believe that was close to, and I don't know if that's even, I think the soccer arena is very close to, the soccer building is close to the arena now, but there was this old train station that they turned into, I want to say train station that they turned
that's where the Hard Rock Cafe was at one point.
So when I was there, this was many years ago with an ex-girlfriend. We checked out a game.
God damn it. There we go.
Yeah, we checked out a game and we walked over and I thought everything was like we just thought it was a cool little spot. And she was from outside of Toronto, so she thought it was kind of easy to get around.
Yeah, what'd she look like?
What she look like? Blonde hair.
I was there in 2000, so that's how long it's been for me.
Oh, me too. It was 2000.
But yeah, I mean I liked it. We had a lot of fun. It's
light rail system.
The production stuff has got to be different than when I went. They had this guy Towel Man, and whenever the Blues scored a goal, he would come down, swing his towel, everybody go all crazy about that.
I'd like to go back. I'm thinking.
You want to get hot?
Yeah, I'd like to. I'd like to go back.
It's only 4 hours. Well, Dave, when you drive to B, you and I will check out a game. We'll make a road trip.
All right, coming in next at number 12, the New York Islanders.
The new. It'd be nice to get out there, but
it would be nice. That was one every spare weekend I had. It's like, you want to go see the Islanders? No. You want to go see the Islanders? No, I can't. I'm working 4 games this weekend. Just couldn't make it fit, but I'd like to get out there.
Too bad. I can tell you what the Coliseum was like. That was a dump.
Yeah, been there a few times. I went to the bar. I did all their other arenas. I did the Barclays Center. I did.
I know. Okay, that happened. Oh man, I got kind of like Detroit, Joe Louis. Now it's not.
All right, so let's move on. Sorry, Islanders fans. Can't talk about you, please. At number 11, well, I feel like I skipped somebody, but I didn't. Number 11, the Toronto Maple Leafs.
That's a cool place, especially you.
I'm guessing it's out of the top 10 because of the price.
Price, yeah. It's for the longest time it was like the fan base was rich and quiet, and like you could watch Hockey Night in Canada coming into the second period. Don Cherry's gone, second period comes, they start playing, and it's like there's nobody there because the first four rows of the platinum seats are all empty, right? Because everybody's under, like, at the club or whatever. It's hopping now, I can tell you, like, right this very second, there's a packed house plus another, like, 8,000 out in the square. And
are they playing tonight?
And they're losing 1-0.
Yeah. I want both those teams to lose.
I have it at 17.
I'm actually kind of partially rooting for Toronto this year because I know what it feels like to go through a long drought. But anyway.
No, you don't.
Look at Dan. He's like,
I went through the entire 70s, 80s, and 90s without a championship, man.
You went
That's
from
30 years.
70.
Well, no, the Celtics won a few in the 80s, so I take that back, walk that back a little bit.
No, they won 3.
Yeah.
So my point, so you verified my point more.
Red Sox, man, 86 years.
8 in your lifetime, yeah.
Oh
yeah,
my God.
Bruins, 40 years. Patriots, 40 years.
Well, when John Tavares scored the overtime goal to
the Phillies
win the series, all of a sudden social media was flooded with that old John Tavares picture of him sleeping in his Maple Leafs jammies and his Maple Leafs sheets and his Maple Leafs comforter. And
all right, so into the top 10 we go. At number 10, Columbus Blue Jackets, Nationwide Arena.
Oh yeah, Nationwide.
On your side.
Been there a few times. I like it. I think that was one of our higher rated ones for quite some time. Like top 3. Not a bad seat in the house. A nice fan base. People do like hockey out in Columbus. Nice, the arena district. So you have on Nationwide, you have the arena, and then a little bit down below, you have the ballpark, and then right next to the ballpark is the soccer restaurant. You got some cool places to hang out before. I've hung out at some of the bars there, talked hockey with some of the fans. Felt like I was in a city that's had a team for many, many years. So, yeah, it's a cool place. And price-wise, kind of affordable compared
Absolutely.
to
Yeah, no doubt about that.
I've been there probably about 4 times.
Oh, wow.
And I really liked it. The attendance is getting soft. So I've got it at...
He's been bad for a while.
11. Yeah, I mean, they deserve a better team. And I don't know why, like...
16,860 this year.
They just can't seem to string it together. Even this year, like they make some big splash signing Johnny Hockey and
you signed with the Devils. Okay.
And it didn't work out. So
yeah. No,
I like Buchanan too.
He didn't want to sign with the Devils.
Yeah. Well, no, he's from South Jersey. I get it. Yeah, the Cannon's awesome. I remember the food being nice. Yeah, I had fun there. And we have being out here in Indianapolis, there are some Blue Jacket fans, so they can act a little snooty when their team is doing it. But not this year.
Definitely not this year. Columbus is a cool city to visit. One of those underrated, under the radar cities.
It's a nice city. Now, one thing I know, and this is the same thing with Nashville, you get a lot of like Pittsburgh fans coming in there to giving you a hard time. So,
well, just remind people who are Columbus Blue Jackets fans that at least you live in a state where the river didn't catch fire.
Yeah. Well.
All right. So moving on to the top 10, number 9, Madison Square Garden, New York Rangers.
Good location. Bad restaurant and a good neighbor.
I got the Rangers.
Don't drive there.
5.
Yeah, don't drive there.
I've been there once. We drove there.
Oh my gosh!
How much they charge you?
50? Well, this was 2007 maybe or something like that, and it was $45.
Yeah.
Wow.
MSG. The times I've been to games there, it's.
Wait, where do you park there?
I don't know. There
was a garage right across the street.
I don't know, and I hate to say that because I'm a Knicks fan. Yeah, it's in a really awesome neighborhood. Coming from New Jersey, we just hop on the path and we're underneath the garden, so it was very easy for us to get to. And
I will say that it's the easiest arena I've ever gotten to.
It's the what?
It's the easiest arena I've ever gotten to.
Yeah, easiest arena.
Take the train, yeah.
I don't know. It's just not flashy like the other ones,
I was going to say, like, that's what I was trying to get.
Celebrity siding, yes. Ticket prices are high, but it's New York.
What's the what level is the arena floor on? Like
18,
4th, 5th?
There's all these other freaking concert venues there.
It's kind of funky. I mean, it's iconic, right? Like,
yeah, it's iconic.
You gotta go at some point in time. I've never been for basketball. The energy that was in there for the Rangers was solid. And I mean, geez, it's in Manhattan. Like,
yeah,
does it get much better neighborhood wise? Is that possible? So
no, it's not. Yeah, it's a short walk from Times Square and the center of the universe, right?
yeah.
If you ask my wife about Madison Square Garden, she will. The first thing out of her mouth is that place stunk, as in smelled.
They had a big reno again.
Yeah, they've done a lot to it, made it a lot more modern.
Yeah,
It's iconic. All right,
the Rangers make you forget that they're owned by the same guy that owns the Knicks.
Dolan, yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, it's amazing how he's such a pain in the butt for the Knicks, but with the Rangers,
does he not care about the Rangers?
Dolan.
I think he's got people that he's hands off on the Rangers for some reason. With the Knicks, I don't know what the story is, but that's something they always talk about on New York radio. It's like, why is James Dolan?
Well, and the alumni are like right in his face. Like, you know, you got Charles Barkley thrown out of there, and
Charles Oakley.
Or Charles Oakley. Sorry, yeah, Charles Oakley. Yeah. I read somewhere that he had, like, he's being sued by a bunch of people or whatever, and he had he looked up all the lawyers and had them removed from, like, the circus or something at MSG. They had facial recognition software, and he had these lawyers who were there with, like, their kids or whatever, and he had them pulled out.
I mean, that's insane.
How is this even possible?
Exactly. It's just, he must have a lot of money, a lot of time on his hands.
Eat the rich.
Yeah, must be nice.
The only one thing that they're good for.
Well, I mean, the Knicks, hopefully there's a renaissance coming.
I got that one, Steven Tyler.
Thank you. Aerosmith just announced their farewell tour. Let's see if it's actually a farewell tour.
Well, considering that the Joey Kramer won't be joining with the band, and Mr. Tallarico might be in a little bit of trouble.
Yeah, let's see if they make it to the end of the tour.
This is probably a farewell tour. Might be farewell faster than you think.
Yeah, he might not make it to New Year's Eve at the Garden is the final show. Those tickets go on sale Friday. I can only imagine what the tickets are going to go for.
Might be going to jail.
Yeah. All right, so on to happier subjects. Number 8, Pittsburgh Penguins.
I got that one. That one's a little high for me. I got them at 13. I mean, it's an interesting enough arena. It's the first one that I ever remember with, like, the kind of digital Hall of Fame kind of thing, like with the big iPads and interactive kind of stuff. All the people who say it's the house that Sid built or the house that Crosby built, they don't know anything about the Penguins because it's literally the house that Mario built.
Yeah,
and the other one was also the house that Mario built.
Mario built 2 houses.
Yeah, probably the
backs up his 7th strikeout.
I am not editing. There have been 5
compared to where they were playing before. That was the new building is what Pittsburgh paint.
PPG.
So yeah, compared to where they played before, and that's built around the same time. Well, after the Devils arena, so you have this kind of different vibe than you had from the '90s in construction and style. I haven't been out there, but looks like a cool spot.
Very nice.
It'll be interesting to see what they're like once, once Sidney Crosby retires, and they didn't make the playoffs this year because Penguins attendance in the non-Mario, non-Crosby years it was atrocious. It was really bad. So
no, that's not true.
It'll be.
I've been told that's not true.
If they've got a few years that are down again. If that place is, empty or
Pittsburgh need to be saved yet again.
Yeah.
All right, coming in at number 7, Montreal.
No,
I got Montreal at number 8.
Les Habitants.
I have recently bumped them way up. You're right down right downtown Montreal. You're 2 blocks from St. Catherine Street. You're about 5 blocks from the old Forum. If you want to go there, it's still standing. I went and saw Black Panther there last time I was there. Fun stuff. I would say the loudest fan base.
Yep.
They're still 20,000 strong, even though they've been hideous the last couple years. There's no fan base that's prouder of their organization. There's no fan base that's, well, their arrogance would be right up there probably with Yankee fans, Laker fans. For those of us who understand what they're saying in French, I guess. Awesome plaza with all the statues. It's difficult to separate French Canadian culture from the Montreal Canadiens. It's almost impossible. They're just so interwoven. It would be the spot on this list that feels like it's in a different country other than the United States or Canada. It's like a whole different kind of cultural experience there.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. It's an incredible feeling. I remember going to a game there first when it was at the Forum. It was probably the best experience I ever had in any sporting event. I felt that kind of tapered off a bit with the Bell Center, but 20,000 fans screaming and cheering and just so damn proud of this organization, looking at all those Stanley Cup banners. Yeah, it's something that, everybody should try to see. If you want to see a top five hockey arenas, I'd probably put it somewhere in that list. Yeah, you're right.
Just above it, we got at number 6, Chicago Blackhawks.
Well, when I was at a Blackhawks game, they weren't really good, so the atmosphere was kind of lukewarm. But a few years later, when I started doing Bulls games, everybody was telling me how it's such a different atmosphere when the Blackhawks are playing now. So it's another proud franchise. People love the Blackhawks out in Chicago, and when they were winning cups and had some of the best players out there in the league, there was no other hotter ticket in town. I believe tickets were among the highest in the league. For an arena that is very nondescript. It has that Art Deco feel of the old Chicago Stadium. There are some nice LED lighting, and they have those giant screens that showcase the history there. You go there for the atmosphere, you go there for the fans, and you definitely went there for the winning hockey. I don't know what it's like these days. Team's not as strong as it used to be, but still a proud group of fans up there in Chi-Town.
For me, it's the top of the list. It's number
really?
one.
Okay. I can see
that. Maybe I was there on the perfect day.
Yeah.
Because I was there probably about 05. So they were fresh off Bill Wirtz dying.
Yes, that was
relatively fresh. And
freedom.
Yeah, totally it was.
Yeah.
And Son Rocky was there, and then everything started to change. They started getting on local television again. They started repairing the links to the alumni because Bill Wirtz had ostracized those guys, right? Like one of the reasons why there was a WHA was because of Bill Wirtz.
Yeah. Because
him and Bobby Hull couldn't get along, and Bobby Hull said, "Forget it, I'm out of here." And would there have been a WHA without Bobby Hull? I would argue probably not.
The reason why the Wolves, they put a team in Chicago in the IHL. It's like,
the day that I went, they brought back Bobby Hull and Stan Mikita, drove them out in these Cadillac convertibles on the ice, and the roof blew off that place. I have never heard anything so loud as that in my life. The national anthem, you couldn't hear the national anthem. It was so loud, just an amazing atmosphere. And it was, and we're not talking like Winnipeg that had like 15,000 people. Like they had like 22,000, 21,000, 22,000. I think it's the biggest arena in the league. So yeah. And this was pre Patrick Kane, Jonathan Toews, all those guys. So yeah, it was my favorite. Probably not the best neighborhood, not the best anything else, but again, for me, it's just like kind of that one experience, atmosphere, the fans, just that one off, and it was wow.
Apparently, there's like mass transportation doesn't go out there because of union contracts. That's what everybody says. But I think they built their practice facility nearby. But yeah, you're right. The neighborhood is not. When I go there, sometimes I park on the street, and you're like, "Is it safe?" You look around, cross your fingers.
All right, so now that brings us into the top 5, and kicking off the top 5 are the Edmonton Oilers.
Yeah. I've heard great things about this place. It's just shiny and fancy and spiffy and new. So it's
expensive.
It's a bucket list for me. I did go to Northlands, with the old Wayne Gretzky statue out front. It was really loud, lots of support, but yeah, bucket list for me, unfortunately.
Yeah, me too. Well, maybe one day I'll get back. I don't know.
And the folks in Calgary got to be kind of pissed because they spent a lot of money to build this place in Edmonton, and Calgary's still sitting there with the Saddle Dome. But I guess that's a function of the local politics.
Well, I don't think the latest deal has been brought forward by the province. So if anybody's pissed now, it's the people in Edmonton, because the province is going to supposedly drop money into this Calgary project
where they didn't
drop money into the Edmonton project.
It's all about timing, right? All right, so coming in at number 4, the Seattle Kraken, Climate Pledge Arena.
Or nice things. I was there to see the Seattle Thunderbirds in 2001 before it was renovated. I think the only thing similar is the roof, I would point, but I can't tell you. I'm sure it's ridiculously awesome to see hockey and have it succeed the way it has been since the Supersonics left town, and
absolutely
team wins its first round. I hated the Kraken name, but I guess I was wrong. It works.
Okay.
The jerseys work.
That'd be a good. It's a maybe not a double hitter, but a 2-for-1. 2 spots, 1 trip. That'll really hit my bucket list, is to hit the Canucks and the Kraken.
Yeah, it's a good road trip. That's a good reason why they put Seattle in the league. Gave Vancouver a neighbor.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. You could have to do that one night, do Vancouver the next night, because that'd be a push to get to those cities.
And hey, with the Supersonics coming back,
that'll
be the place to go. No, it's not official. It's officially unofficial. They pretty much said that the next 2 teams, one is going to Seattle.
I'm back.
Seattle and Vegas, I think, and that brings the NBA to 32.
Yeah, good.
All right, so our medal winners.
All right, bronze.
Taking in the bronze medal, and this. Sorry to whoever did this review. I know who did the review, but sorry, but this one has no business being anywhere in the top 3. Never mind the top 10. I wouldn't even put it in the top 20.
Wow.
We're talking about the Washington Capitals.
I got Washington at 21.
Exactly.
I've been there. Man, I was there like after the strike, and Ovechkin was there at that time. And I think I had a section to myself. Like, it was like a ghost town in there. Now, I had been since, and it was pretty hopping. It was before they won the Stanley Cup, but it was in that run where Ovechkin was really pushing the Caps to great things. But the arena's it was okay.
No, the 90s
the neighborhood's not bad, I guess. It's right by.
That's its biggest plus. Is it's got a great neighborhood around it. We're talking about MSG having a great neighborhood. In DC, you got the Smithsonian, you got the Ford Museum, you got all kinds of historical places. You got great restaurants. You got Chinatown.
I don't know much about the public transit or anything like that.
But subway station right underneath the arena.
Well, what we did, I wouldn't want to do this, at the peak of game time. What we did is we figured out stuff to do around there for that afternoon. So we parked kind of early, did our stuff, the International Spy Museum, which was very fun. It's like the only museum they actually have to pay for in Washington, so that's the one that we picked.
Tourists.
And So we did that and went and got something to eat and then went to the game. But traffic in Washington is probably in the top 5 worst traffic areas I've ever been in. So,
Indeed.
Beltway traffic.
And also some of the most uncomfortable seats you're ever going to find in an arena. All right, so coming in at number 2, Tampa Bay Lightning.
I got Tampa Bay at number 3, so it's right up there for me.
One of the best atmospheres in the league, from everything I've heard.
Win Stanley Cups regularly, should be.
That doesn't hurt, yeah.
And I'm sorry, Dave. Go ahead.
It's interesting that this would be what I would consider one of the more modern teams, right? I'm old enough to think of the Lightning as an expansion team still.
Me too.
Yet at the same time, they have one piece that is the most traditional hockey piece ever that so many other teams have gone away from. They have the biggest organ in the league by far. And they use it. And it's great. They got those, what do you call those things? Like the lightning rods or whatever. They run that.
Well, Dave, are they not called lightning rods?
I don't know. I don't know. They make lightning inside. It's pretty funky.
Oh, those are lightning
Tesla
rods.
coils.
Yeah.
Yes,
Tesla coils. Yeah.
Those things.
Yeah, what you said.
Man, the fan base in there was on point. They were all over it. It was loud. It was exciting.
They were on point.
It wasn't the playoffs, so they let me in because I'm Canadian.
Yeah, I was going to say because you're Canadian.
But yeah, we had a great time there. Great time there.
I will say this: they're on point, but I have not seen a fan base leave a building quicker.
Does that speak well of the design of the building?
Maybe it does. You know what? I take that back.
Oh man, have you ever been in a place where you just want to get the heck out and you can't because it's bottlenecked so bad?
Yeah, every day I leave work.
Yeah,
giant stadiums like that.
Yeah. All right. So, last but not least, our number 1. If you've been keeping track and writing down on your scorecard, you know who this is going to be. The Nashville Predators.
All right.
The number 1 spot.
Nice. I've been there.
With an unbelievable 4.86 score on our fanfare metric.
And I think, I would say at one time a lot had to do with pricing in the neighborhood, but then there was a time where, or the shock that you can go to Nashville and see a packed house. And I know at one time it used to be like 50-50. All the Blackhawk fans would come down and it'd be 50-50. But I think there's a lot of solid hockey fans in Nashville. And, being a Devils fan, that was the city they were going to take the team to after they won their first cup. So we hated Nashville. We didn't want to see that. So when I finally went down there, I was like, man, this is like the perfect neighborhood. Live music.
It is right downtown, right? Right at the edge of that. What's the big drag there in
Broadway?
Yeah, Broadway. So live music all day long. I think that part of town is getting a little bit pricey. It's becoming kind of a little bit too ritzy like it used to be.
It's the hot city now, right?
The hot city now. But I tell you, the arena, and then that was one of the first arenas that I saw this social area up above one of the area. They had cut this viewing section. They opened up the top concourse, at one of the ends, and I just thought that was one of the greatest things ever. I was like, oh man, I've never seen that before. So I had a blast there. I had a great time, and like I said, great location, great, easy to get to. Even if you're driving in, get there a little early and take in the festivities, But yeah, I could see it in the top 5. I don't know if I'd put it number 1, but yeah, I'm not shocked. I'm not too shocked.
I had Nashville at number 4. Yeah. I feel that they really, because there's another team that went into bankruptcy, and I feel that they really turned the corner with their new ownership, and they started treating each game like an event. And
Smashville.
Yeah, Smashville. The yellow carpet. They do this big thing. I'm not huge on hockey cheerleaders, but they do a big thing. You walk the yellow carpet and you high five all the cheerleaders coming in. I mean, the kids love that stuff.
Kind of makes sense in Nashville.
Yeah, totally. They really tapped into like the local, they have a plethora of celebrities there, right? So they really tapped into that. They could do, a who's who of singing the national anthem, right? When Mike Fisher was there, of course, they had Carrie Underwood there like all the time. But yeah, it really another one that surprised me how great the fan base was. But I don't think it was always like that. I don't think it was like that, coming out of the gate.
No, I think it took a while. I think you're right.
I think it took a while, and once they started treating it like an event and embracing, the Nashville-ness of it, and they obviously well, maybe not obvious, but they play way more country music at that game than any other game that I've been to, for sure. Texas, Oklahoma, anywhere. Nashville's playing. They're playing Nashville music, and I had a blast too. Really, really surprising. It was number 2 on my list for a long time, and maybe that's just like recency bias because I went to Tampa after Nashville. I went to Vegas after, Nashville, and maybe those are really the only reasons that those two made it a little higher than Nashville did.
All right. Well, that concludes our rankings. Hope you enjoyed our recap. And if you take out all the extra stuff we talked, we kept it kind of short. So thanks everyone for joining us. So let's wrap things up. Dan, where can our listeners follow you on the social medias?
You follow me on the social medias, pissing off indie wrestlers that can't do a damn thing about it. At DanLaw83. I'm taller than you. Shut up.
When I read your stuff, man, I can just see you with that smirk on your face and just like, hey, come on, reel him in.
That's the thing. You can see the smirk. Everyone else is like, serious. And I'm just sitting there going, hey.
Troll Central, right?
Not entirely troll. I was deadly serious. But then I'm like, I was like, oh, I'm going to have fun with him.
Yeah.
And I know he was having fun with me back. That's why I was like, except for the homophobes, them I troll.
So Dan Law, 83.
Oh, did I not say Dan Law 83?
Yeah, I think you did, but then we took a little bit.
Dan Law 83.
All right, Mark, where can our listeners follow you? You got any plans coming for the upcoming couple of weeks?
I don't know what I'm doing the next couple of weeks. I had some minor things planned, but I got some prior commitments with the wife and friends here in town. I may check out the Lebanon Leprechauns, the basketball league, just because it's not too far, and we'll see what they can provide in forms of entertainment. I'll shoot some videos. You can check that out at the Ballpark Hunter on Twitter and on my YouTube page. I got new content there every Monday and Thursdays.
Nice. And Dave, where can our listeners follow you and what you got on the agenda?
Not too much on the agenda. Might stop in again to do the review of Toronto Blue Jays, which has sort of been pushed off. But this Wednesday, hit up our very first Obstructive Views about lacrosse. So we got a special premiere of our Albany Firewolves Obstructive Views on the Stadium Journey YouTube channel. But other than that, you could follow me at Profan9 on Twitter and Instagram.
And as for myself, you can follow my Stadium Journeys on Twitter or Instagram at PuckmanRI. Where am I heading? This is just a couple of weeks I got off. Now that college sports just finished for me. Being a PA for a college baseball team in the Northeast was interesting. Half of my games got postponed or canceled outright. So that was interesting. The Brockton Rock Summer College Ball starts up for me in 3 weeks. So in the meantime, where am I going? Well, we kind of left the weekends open and unplanned because we were hoping that the Providence Bruins would go on this nice Calder Cup run and maybe we would follow them to a couple of games on the road as they advanced. But they're down 2-0 in a best-of-5 series, so they could be done tomorrow night. So we'll see. So I may hit a Woo Sox game or two in the coming weekends. Might hit up We may go away for a weekend. Mother's Day is coming up, so we may go up to Portland. That's kind of been our tradition in the last few years. So we might hit up the Sea Dogs, but who knows? Follow me on at PuckmanRI, see where I end up, because I don't know yet. And remember that you could find all of our stadium reviews, news items, and other feature stories on our website, stadiumjourney.com. Follow us on our social media channels. Find us at Stadium Journey. Makes sense, doesn't it? You can find audio versions of the Stadium Journey podcast by searching HIAC Talk Radio Network wherever you look for your favorite podcasts. And if you'd rather watch the podcast and listen to it, go to our YouTube page. Find us all there. And if you want to be part of our live studio audience, every other Tuesday night, 7 Eastern at danlaw.tv. We will all get together again in 2 weeks. That is May 16th. We will be joined by Heather Shy from the Ocean State Center for Independent Living. We're going to talk about a pretty interesting topic, accommodations at sporting events. Could be an interesting discussion. So as always, thanks everyone for joining us. Thank you for your support. For Dan, Mark, and Dave, this is Paul wishing you all safe travels and close games. Hope to see you on the road real soon. Be safe out there.